And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fightonomics, our 7th episode. We're back. It's been about 2 months since we've been gone. We're still here, the same bunch. Marcus, here with my man Daniel Yusuf, otherwise known as Yusuf.
Yes, sir.
And then we got Damien right here.
Good to be back, folks. I know you've missed us, but
we're back. My brothers.
We're back in the studio, everyone.
There's been quite a lot of news in MMA since we've been gone the last 2 months.
Yeah.
We got a lot to get into. But it's gonna be a new year. We're in a new studio. We got some new equipment. Centennial College Story Arts Center studio. Thank you for affording us that. And we got a lot going on. We've got a lot of changes coming. First things first, what's on the horizon? What do you think is on the horizon for us, Damien? I know you got a couple visions in your mind. What do you think's next for the Fightonomics crew?
We spent a couple of months away from this just because life just, I don't want to say gets in the way of things, but we all have to deal with certain things going on in our lives, whether that be school, family, personal, professional issues. But during the interim that we spent doing away from the studio, we got a lot of we came together, we convened, and we have a lot of ideas going on that we'd like to bring to fruition. So we're gonna start off. We're going to keep the podcast going as like the main bulk of this project, but we definitely have a few surprises in store.
Definitely. And then I think for us, we've been gone for 2 months. A lot of us have been busy. We got work on the go, schooling on the go, but we're back.
Internships,
co-ops, but we're back.
Trying to figure out this career thing. We're still young. We're still young. Life. We're still young in this game, so we got to deal with the upward trajectory of life, right?
Yeah, we're young lions.
Yeah, and like I was alluding to earlier, there has been a lot that's gone on in these last 2 months. 3 pay-per-views, fight nights. I mean, I feel like every main event has been noteworthy. I think.
Where do you want to start?
I think the biggest news since we've been gone has been.
TJ.
That's right up there, I think. But I think. Not only because it was about 2 weeks ago now or a week and a half ago, but UFC 236, Adesanya, Dustin Poirier. I think that's the hottest news right now.
Yep.
We keep going back to Israel Adesanya. He was my fighter to watch for 2019, the breakout star.
He was.
So far, he's lived up to that.
He was calling out John Jones too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of back and forth going on between them. But I guess I'll open the floor to you, Damien, first.
Yes,
what do you think of Dustin Poirier, Israel Adesanya? I don't know which fighter you want to start with first, but I think those are the two hottest names right there out there in MMA.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on the fights, where they're headed to, just in general?
Well, I know Adesanya was your pick for 2019, so I'll leave him off the bat for a moment. But I want to talk about Poirier. I mean, Poirier has been one of those laborers of MMA since his journey began. I mean, he took the hard way, and he, like he said in the post-fight interview, he paid for all of this in blood. I mean, the way he was able to just stop Holloway and just like be able to like just counter everything and just make sure and just come out on top the way he did, it was very impressive to me. He did so, and like his upward trajectory of where he's been since moving up to lightweight was fascinating to me. I mean, the Gaethje fight, the Eddie Alvarez no contest, the Pettis fight. Oh my goodness! And then to have this all culminate, I don't even consider this like an interim title win for Poirier. I mean, like he is a champion through and through the gold that he's won and just the way he portrays himself to the outside world. I mean, just take a look at the charity that he's running, where it's just like he wants to donate all the winnings to building like tangible things for the Lafayette, Louisiana community. I mean, that is one hell of a man to do that. And this is not to take away anything from Holloway as well, because we all have love for Max as well. And just to see their growth as true martial artists in every respect of the word, from their 145-pound days up to where they are now. I mean, it's really respectable. And coming from a purist martial art perspective too, it's so much more fun to see than just trash talking for the sake of trash talking.
I was going to say, I think I picked Holloway as my breakout fighter.
Yeah.
And then I give him some credit for stepping. I thought he was actually, I thought him facing like Poirier, I thought he was going to beat him. But then watching the
Mm.
fight, I'm like, I can see there's a big difference because Poirier, after each shot that he took, it put more damage into Matt, and because Max Holloway is more like he's gonna throw like a bunch of
Volume.
shots at you.
He's all volume.
He's all
Yeah.
volume, right? And Poirier, each shot he took, it caused
Yeah.
like damage to him. So because he had the like the power like advantage,
And that's like the
towards
kind.
Max Holloway.
Yeah.
So it was great to see Poirier, especially after now you look at his last 4 wins: Holloway, Gaethje, Alvarez,
Yeah.
Pettis. He beat 3 champions basically. So he beat and then after the fight was what made this is what mixed martial arts is about.
So good to see.
It's the respect. It's the appreciation,
the sportsmanship.
for the
basically.
sportsmanship,
Yeah.
appreciation, everything. That's what it's all
There's
about.
no
None
trash
of this,
talking.
none of this Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even what's his name? What's his name?
Colby.
Colby.
I knew you were alluding to Colby.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that guy. What he's putting on, that
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah,
goof.
Oh,
But like that's like that was a good, like a really, really good like event
culmination
for the UFC.
yeah,
To
definitely.
put them on like a good image.
What do you think,
for them.
Marcus?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% with what you guys were saying. I thought going into the fight, I didn't think Dustin Poirier would win. I knew it would be a close fight. I just think Max Holloway is just he's like, you know,
He was like a
a
zombie,
lighter
bro.
weight class,
Yeah.
Michael Bisping. He gets stronger as the fight goes on, and even at 145, he doesn't have a lot of power. That's nothing to take away from him. He just doesn't have that one punch knockout
Yeah.
power.
Yep.
But everyone
Volume.
talks about his fight IQ. That's a word a lot of people like to talk about. Each time his fight, each time his fights go further and further into the fight and into the rounds, he's just much more effective. He's putting together combinations, and and eventually his opponent just breaks.
Yep.
And that's what I thought was going to happen to Dustin Poirier, because we've seen Dustin Poirier a little bit vulnerable at times. But I mean, it was clear going up, and I am taken from Joe Rogan and Ariel and Dana. Going into the fight, you thought Max Holloway should have moved up in weight class. That's 155 is his weight class. But you really do truly see that he is a 145 pounder. He is a featherweight. The power just doesn't translate to 155. I do think he's a contender at 155 still, and I think he'd
He
beat a
could
lot
be,
of guys in the division. I just don't think he has the power. And like I said, he's a fight IQ type of fighter. He gets stronger as the fight goes on. He puts together punches and bunches, combinations. That's what he did against Poirier. It just didn't have a serious effect on him. And then going back to now Poirier, his boxing is crisp, and he's only getting stronger.
Yeah.
And to even think that he was a 145 pounder,
I didn't believe
I
in him
couldn't
at
believe.
first.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't
that was
believe that he
insane.
was-
He said he might even compete at 170. He said he might compete
see
at
it.
170 and move
Hey,
up.
man, that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
to me, you know what I mean. And his powers, there's boxing. He has great wrestling. He's
Yeah.
gonna be a good match. Him and
Great,
Khabib
dirty
is gonna
boxing,
be
man. Yeah.
him and Khabib is gonna be a great matchup. I think it will be
If he
close,
can keep
but
it
I
on
think
the feet, if he can keep it on the feet, he has a
yeah, and I
chance
think
to
if
catch
I
Khabib.
think if Khabib does get him down and starts raining, I
Then
think
the
the
it,
story goes. As
I
the
think
story
that's
goes.
Khabib,
but I
though.
can't see Poirier getting finished easily. But it could be, you know what I mean. But I still think Khabib can win that fight. I still think Khabib will win.
So many matchups in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
used
the
to happen,
lightweight division is
Yeah.
it's
What's gonna happen
pretty
with
crazy.
Tony?
You know, it kind of
Ferguson.
gives credence to what Kevin Lee decided to do when he just says, he's like, you know what, let the lightweight
gonna
chaos
move
solve
up.
itself. I'll move up to 170 and see where this takes me. And a lot of fighters, even from lightweight, I mean, you got Kevin Lee and you got Masvidal, who moved up and
Yeah.
have found success in 170, right?
Mhm.
So it's interesting to see where these two divisions that are at the pinnacle of their climax go from here.
Yeah, speaking of fighters who moved up from
Mm-hmm.
155, one of them was Anthony Pettis. And
look, he
that
looks- he
knockout
looks-
against
yeah,
Stephen
Stephen-
Wonderboy now
Oh my
puts him in a
God.
position
punch.
to, sort of dictate which
Superman.
fight he wants next at maybe 155, 170.
Here I go agreeing
He's not
with
going to get
Dana.
a title shot, but he can definitely get another contender at 170 or
Oh,
move
yeah.
back down to 155 and get another contender. Because if you look at some of the losses that Pettis has accumulated, it's been to great fighters.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I just think, that's another example of another fighter, like you
Yeah.
alluded to, Damien, of
mhm.
somebody who's at 155 moving up.
Yeah.
There's been calls for the 165-pound division.
He's looking for more opportunity.
I don't know
to
if
become-
more weight classes necessarily solves the
become a
issue. We
champion.
thought there should be. That's another topic we've always discussed lately is more weight classes in the division.
What about Darren Till? And,
Oh Lord, Darren.
He's been in some
Masvidal,
trouble. He's
yeah.
been in some trouble. I don't know if you guys
that
have
gorilla,
heard about
that
Darren
gorilla.
Till
running-
and
What are you doing in
he's running
Mexico,
loose
buddy?
in Mexico.
it's in
What are
Spain
you
though. It's in
doing?
Spain.
Oh,
It's
it's in
It was in
Spain.
Ibiza.
Oh,
Okay.
in Spain.
So he's running loose in Spain. I think he
man.
got.
Bro, this guy
They
thought it was
did get
Grand Theft Auto.
arrested.
Yeah.
He's gotten arrested. I think he's gonna have to pay some upwards
Yeah.
of 10
$10,000.
grand in euros.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
Oh
about
Lord.
10,000 euros.
I was I was telling this to
Mhm,
Damien.
mhm.
Like this is the part of his career,
Hmm.
like Darren Till, where he's facing the
challenge.
challenge,
Mhm.
Like
the
a
adversity.
crossroads?
Yeah.
Because he
Mhm.
started off hot, like he was
Yeah,
a hot
man.
prospect.
He was one of the hardest of
Dot
last
me
year.
now, dot me
Yeah,
now, all that
yeah.
stuff, right? After that win
And
against
then-
Stephen Thompson,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then after this is where he needs to face that challenge.
Yeah, the Tyron
coming up.
loss, and then
Yep.
he had the Masvidal
Masvidal.
loss afterwards. And I'm like, you need to get back into some serious training.
I think
I
he'll
don't know
bounce back.
He
I
just
think
needs to
Darren
go back to
Till-
Brazil where he started
Yeah,
in the beginning and
I
start
think
some
Darren
serious
Till,
training.
I think he's got so much like potential to become a big star
Yeah.
in the UFC.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
think
yeah,
right now
100%.
he's probably young. So like
Yeah.
like when I watched the fight against him
Hmm.
and Masvidal,
Yeah.
that was like the like a matchup of like the veteran versus like the
Hmm. Hmm.
like the young.
And that's that's not to take away anything from Gamebred as well. I mean, like, geez, like what a career, like resurgence
yeah,
this guy has had. I mean, like that 2-piece. What's that little saying you got?
the
three-piece
The
combo.
3-piece and soda. Like,
Yeah,
like
I gave him
oh
the
my-
3-piece and the soda. Boom.
And he has options too. I mean, he had that little scrap with Leon Edwards in the.
But he's going to be
behind the
taking
scenes.
on a Masvidal
Yeah.
is going to be
Mhm.
taking on
Yeah, he's
Ben
gonna play
Askren.
on
So
Funky.
Yeah, and he said
For International
I
Fight
just
Week.
saw a tweet that Masvidal said he's promised a shot at the welterweight belt.
yeah, if he
Mhm.
wins
Yeah.
that
If he-
fight,
if
which
he
I
wins
can't
Ben
see why
Askren.
not.
Mhm.
For Darren Till, I'll pose a question out to you guys because for me,
Mhm.
I think after the loss to Masvidal, I think he needs a fresh start. 185. Do you think he should move up? I think he should move up.
Masvidal.
No,
Oh,
Darren Till.
Darren
Yeah,
Till.
He has the
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that. I always like every time I watch him,
Yeah.
he has the size advantage.
I think he
Yeah,
needs
that
a
is
fresh
true. I
start.
think
Yeah,
he should go to 185.
Give him a contender at 185. We'll see.
to to middleweight, right?
middleweight,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he
yeah.
needs a fresh
Mhm,
start.
mhm.
That's just me. I think Darren Till. I'm
that
not
would do
gonna
him
lie.
the best justice in terms of in terms of the crossroads that he's at right now. That who's maybe give him a top
Rockhold.
fifth, maybe not Rockhold.
Rockhold's moving up to
Yeah,
205.
He's going up to 205 last I
Jeez.
heard.
Yeah, Rockhold's
So-
facing. Oh man, the pronunciation of his name is really hard.
Something with a B. Book.
Boniana. I don't know how to pronounce his name
Cooney,
to be
I don't know,
honest.
Buck of holes.
It's
Buck of bullshit.
he's facing a Polish lightweight.
Disrespect to him.
He's really good, but yeah, Luke
If he's
Rockhold's
listening
moving
to
up.
this somehow,
Maybe
some way, I don't
maybe
know.
Darren Till takes on somebody like Chris Weidman or
Yeah,
I could see
that'd be
Weidman
a
would
good
be
fight.
a great fight
That'd be
for
a good
him.
fight for him to
Yeah.
start. Or
Don't
he
make
takes
Weidman
on
fight in his
Derek
hometown.
Brunson.
Yeah.
Just
Or
take
Brunson.
on like
Mhm.
a top 10 fringe top 10 contender.
Yep.
Put a
Mhm.
few wins together, 2 or 3 wins.
Mhm.
Maybe fight another contender.
Mhm.
Work your way up to the top best case scenario. But I definitely think Darren Till
I mean, like if you like
should move up.
those guys at 155 did find success at the higher weight classes without having to cut weight. Maybe Darren Till might be the same situation if he goes up to 185, right?
Like,
So-
what's the issue though? Like with
Mhm.
him at 170.
Is the weight cut.
It's
The
weight.
weight
Yeah.
cut's a lot. Now, since he had those weight cut issues against Wonder Boy,
Mhm.
I think he's just
um,
fatigued.
he's
after,
addressed
like, each
them.
fight.
He's addressed them, and
Mhm.
he hasn't missed weight in those 2 fights with
Mhm.
Woodley or Masvidal. He hasn't missed weight in those fights.
Yeah.
Weight cutting hasn't been an issue. But for me, I just think he's draining his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the power's not there. Maybe his chin's not there. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
moving down and cutting weight. We saw that with
Maybe he's too fast for him.
Possibly. There are numerous factors as to why Darren Till is in the spot that he's at right now.
I mean, he's
but-
only suffered back-to-back losses, so it's not the end
Yeah,
of the
it's not
world.
bad.
Yeah, exactly.
We might be
That's what I was
blowing it
gonna
out.
get to.
Like
Yeah.
he's not just gonna run through everybody.
his
There's no
next-
easy fight,
I think-
but yeah,
I think his next fight is huge. For
I just
him.
think he should
yeah.
move up. Just
Yeah.
weight cut alone. Not
Mhm.
never mind the performances.
Mhm.
Forget about the crossroads in his career.
Yeah,
I just think for the weight cut, I want to see him at 185. I want to
Yeah.
see what he can do at 185.
it'll be
Yeah.
better for his health too. If
Oh
he
yeah,
just goes-
100%. And that gives you kind of like lends arguments to the fact that do we actually need these extra weight classes because fighters are draining themselves of all the capabilities that they could be doing at this. I mean, some fighters have found strength at like lower weight divisions. I was
Mhm.
gonna bring in TJ, but that's a story for
Yeah,
in and
that
of
was
itself.
that was where I was
EPOs.
gonna go next. Is
Right.
that the power when he wasn't there, and the chin wasn't there when he moved down. But
and then you have to resort to certain substances, and then your whole career gets thrown into the gutter.
Like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, that could arguably be the biggest news since we've been gone.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts, boys, on TJ
Dillashaw?
Oh
man, I have a lot on that guy.
I have a whole bunch. I have a book to tell about this guy.
I mean, like, just to start things off, I mean, the three of us have not been TJ's biggest fans since we've started talking about MMA amongst each other.
I always saw something fake about him.
Yeah, it was a very pretentious with something very pretentious about his character. I'm not gonna revel in this guy's like defeat of his career. I'm not that kind of person, but at the same time, stop like all the stuff you said, whether it be to Team Alpha Male, whether it be to Cody, whether it be to Henry Cejudo, Uriah. I mean, like, you just made yourself look like an absolute fool, and you deserve all of it.
Yeah, he deserves all the heat that's coming his way. And TJ always talked about, oh, I'm going to be the greatest bantamweight of all time. Well, I think the greatest right now is probably Dominic Cruz, because that's true. He never got caught. Yeah. And he slayed some.
And funny enough,
dragons.
Cruz had the most neutral reaction to the whole TJ thing. He's like, I have no comment. I have no opinion.
I really never heard it.
Which is really respectable on like the levels of respect that I already have for Dominic Cruz, which is really respectable from what he said.
Great analysis too.
Oh yeah, very great analysis.
I like him and Daniel.
They're the A team. They're the A team right there for sure. But TJ's whole career, I think, has an asterisk next to it right now.
Even when he's gonna be done, it's always that's always gonna come up. Even same thing with John Jones.
If I were Renan Barão, I'd be extremely pissed off right now too. I mean, like a lot of fighters that TJ has just pummeled over the years. Cody. Oh my goodness.
But even Cody, like his last fight. He didn't really fight the.
He's fighting like an idiot. He admitted it too. He even said he's like
I fought dumb. I
fought dumb, but didn't help that TJ was on the EPO.
Yeah, exactly.
Which brings me to my next point, which I think is really interesting. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
So the way USADA works is they have certain samples of TJs stored. Some they don't. It's murky, the details.
Fishy.
But apparently, or I shouldn't say apparently, it's been confirmed by Jeff Nowitzki, the Golden Snitch himself, that they can go back and test the samples that they have saved from previous fights. And if they find EPO in there, they can still suspend him on top of the already 2-year suspension that he received.
So give him consecutive suspensions.
So he can get more because it's a separate fight. But that's the thing is like, okay, if you test it once and now they finally caught you, like some people are on the side of like, no, he should only get the 2 years because that's when they caught him and that's the substance and that's it. And it's not a different substance. But some people are like, no, you've been cheating this whole time. And then only this one you got caught, but then there was another one you did and you kept doing it. So I don't know. For me, I just think he should get a longer suspension then. I don't necessarily think he should like just keep getting 2 years on top of 2 years or another 3, 4, 5. But I think if you keep finding EPO, which apparently they have been finding EPO, or they keep finding EPO in his system, that you should, maybe get a 3, 4, 5, like 5-year ban. Like just that's it. 5 years, one more strike, you're out for good, because that's some serious stuff. It's not like, they just caught him one fight or he was taking like HGH for this, I don't know, whatever.
Did they catch him from like most recently?
Like Cejudo was the fight they caught him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the issue was too, and another issue with USADA, like USADA, we can do a whole documentary 5-hour long podcast episode on. It's the details are like mind-boggling, and I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist or a physicist or whatever, but at the same time, from the homework that I've been doing and the research that I've been looking into and understanding USADA in the business of the sport, is that they only developed the test for EPO recently, and then they only do it on certain samples because it's so expensive to do the test, because the standardized USADA test doesn't test for EPO. So they're picking and choosing which samples they're testing for EPO based on, I guess, a hunch or just based on what they think, because it is expensive. So but Dana White was pretty livid when he found out that they're not testing for EPO all the time.
Exactly.
But that's the issue with USADA, is like they're picking and choosing what they want to test for. Okay, then you have the John Jones situation. There's a lot of different layers.
Why don't they just test like every single fight that he's had.
Yeah, and some of the samples they don't have, and it's like there's just too many layers to get into for.
Well, I mean, in regards to like the actual like punishment like topic, I mean, like whether or not like we should give him 2 years itself, or if we do find these tests come out positive from previous fights, do we add on to a suspension? I mean, like it kind of reminds me of like a double jeopardy charge in like in legal terms. I mean, like, do you want to give somebody like the same charge that they've already been convicted of, or that's double jeopardy? I mean, like, this is a very serious like punishment when it comes to like combat sports as a whole. I mean, like I agree with you, Marcus. Like, if this guy gets caught with EPO on numerous occasions, just give him, get the hell out of here. You don't belong here. Like, it's a very, very heinous and serious crime that you're doing. I mean, you're putting people's lives in danger more so than they already are, given the environment of combat sports, right? So like Chael on his own show, Bad Guy Inc. was saying that he'll be fine in 2 years. I mean, if it's legit just 2 years, which I kind of am inclined to agree with. He'll be fine. He'll come out. He'll apologize. He'll go on like a community service tour, or something, about anti-bullying and whatnot, like a la like Khabib. But at the same time, I mean, like this is like he blatantly came out and admitted that he tested positive. So if Nowitzki and company still has these tests that have yet to be tested or tested positive, and they do come out in the future and it confirms that he has been using it for an extended amount of time, then just get him the hell out of here. I say,
I would say let him take the 2 years off, and then if they find during those 2 years that he tested like from before, then I would just give him gone.
Exactly.
Peace.
Exactly.
Like, don't come back.
Don't come back.
I don't know if I'd give him a lifetime ban. I would just give him 5 years. I'd just say, you know what? Here's your 5 years.
You
can get caught 20,000 times, because, like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you know, poor TJ. This and that. God knows I wasn't a fan of him before he got caught, and I'm not a fan of his after he got caught. But I just think you're going down like a dangerous road if you give him a lifetime ban. It's a little bit, and that's not only on him, but you also have to point and look at USADA and look at the UFC and say, UFC, how are you not aware of what USADA is testing for?
You spend all this money on them for the partnership. Don't you want to be
like, how are you surprised that you're not testing for EPO? Number two, okay, if you understand that because of cost, because of medicine, because of science, that they're not able to test for EPO, each sample they get, they have to pick and choose which ones they can do and which fighters they're going to test for EPO. That's fine too, but you got to be aware of that, and you can't be surprised that, or you got to find a way. You got to say, go to USADA and be like, hey, listen, you have to come up with some sort of standardized test that tests for EPO, or you have to come up with sort of standardized test that tests for everything, and have each fighter go through a standardized test, because that's not what is happening right now.
That's what I was saying,
and we're all here confused, and everybody,
it's very confusing,
and even scientists are confused. So
I thought this was like this is going to be a universal, ubiquitous way of testing if these athletes are doping, and apparently it's not, which is kind of a shame that they're spending all this money on this partnership to clean up the sport, in Dana White's words, I guess. And it's just like, it's terrible that this is actually happening.
Yeah, it is. I just, like I said, I don't know every single little detail about testing. I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist. I'll say it over and over again, but at the same time, we've done our homework. I've done enough research to know that there's a lot of different layers to this story that would take not even a 5-hour long podcast, like a 15-day long podcast to get into how the operations of USADA are not, something's not right. And
a Netflix special.
You might it sucks because you want to clean up the sport and you want to have clean fighters, and that's part of the reason. Like, there's different layers, and we always went back to why the UFC is what they are today and why they sold the company, the Fertitas, and everything like that. And we've talked a lot about in previous episodes, but like, part of the reason why they got USADA was to legitimize the sport and so that they were able to sell it. But also part of the reason is what it should be, and that's to clean up the sport.
Yeah, make it fair.
You're going to want to make it fair. And if they're not doing that, or the way they're doing it isn't necessarily fair or isn't working, something needs to be addressed.
You know what's even more crazy? Cejudo beat him even when he was on.
And that was so
EPO.
funny at the conference too. He's like, I still beat him.
Yeah,
that made me laugh. Like
him and Marlon Moraes is gonna be funny. The trash talk between them is really funny.
He's like,
Marlon Moraes is funny. He's a funny guy.
But Cejudo made me laugh.
Cejudo's cringy sometimes.
He's cringy, but he made me burst out laughing. When
I
he's
just
like,
love him because he's from Arizona.
There's no way I'm gonna give up a belt to someone who sounds like Michael Jackson from Brazil or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude, like, come on.
Henry Cejudo, he's from AZ.
Yeah. Can we get into Bare Knuckle FC for a quick second?
Oh, Paulie Malignaggi.
Do we want to talk about Artem Lobov, the GOAT, and Paulie Malignaggi, Jason Knight?
I don't know how that. That's what I was. I don't know how that that promotion's gonna
exactly.
How is that gonna like be good
sustain
for
itself.
The health for the fighters and be sustainable?
We see like Luke Thomas
that's bare knuckles, bro. That's
on his show, he pointed out to the fact that there's a lot of ethics and morals going around this one promotion on whether or not it's sustainable. I mean, I personally think that like combat sports is like violence contained. This is just violence for violence, the enjoyment of violence.
You see gross. The aftermath of the Lobov
oh my
fight?
Goodness.
Yeah, Jason Knight, that was
guy's
crazy.
face was
it's
mush.
Like both of their faces.
That was a war. That's like two warriors. Like I'm not gonna critique any, but the problem with bare knuckle, what a lot of people have an issue with, and I think it's like, come on, like you got to figure out a way to kind of mend this. Is the promoter? I don't know his name, and I should.
Yeah, that guy's
but
a complete
if your fight is not action packed, they'll not give you a percentage of your purse. You know that going in, like it's not a surprise. It's like kind of like the win bonus issue, which we'll get into next. I'm curious to get your thoughts on that too.
This is next level.
But like if you're not promoting, if you're not like having action packed fights, he's not paying you half of your purse.
You're forced already to close the distance.
Even so, it's not based on your winnings, which is what the UFC, like the UFC has. Certain fighters have that win bonus structure, like pay to show up, and then you have pay to win, right? Which they're trying to get rid of. Lobov is actually. Went on Ariel's show and was like, he was like, listen, Ariel, you gotta, and
Ariel's been saying that,
which is kind of not. I don't want to like call him out, but it's like you're on bare knuckle FC, or bare knuckle boxing, where your promoter's openly on the mic telling the fans like, these guys aren't getting paid what they should be getting paid if they're not promoting action.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The only reason he's there is because he's getting a big payday. Him and
he has
Malignaggi.
And that too. And I was gonna say he also has the name from the rub from McGregor.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
So it's like, but at the same time, that promoter, he's an idiot. Like I just straight up want to say that. Like, how are you gonna actually like these are fighters and
how's he think he's gonna compete with some of the
fighting? You know what's crazy? In a way, I don't think he wants to. I think in his twisted little way, I think he thinks this promotion will survive based on the merits of its own promotion, which is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, who else has done bare knuckle that we know of? I know Beck Rawlings has done bare knuckle before and has found moderate success from it.
I think there's some former
fighters. But at the same time, it's not, in my opinion, it's I don't want to say it's morally unjust because this is fighting at the end of the day, but at the same time, it's like I don't think it's sustainable because of the nature of it, and it's just it's ridiculous.
What do you think is like if you want a career, if like I think it's like maybe 2-3 fights and then I would be done. Bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah,
and then if you look at the UFC. You can look at boxing. You can have like 10+ years.
Yeah, you can be
bare knuckle. I think is 2-3 years. Then 2-3 fights, and then I'll be done.
You gotta be done.
I think that's what Thing is doing. Paulie Malignaggi. I'm saying his name wrong on purpose because I like Malignaggi better.
Malignaggi.
Yeah, David Feldman is the president of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
That's the fool. That's the fool.
Yeah, he openly.
Is he Australian?
I don't. To be honest, I've never heard him speak. I just heard. I saw the highlights of the Knight Lobov fight, like the condensed version of the fight. I didn't sit down and watch that. I wouldn't order it.
I don't think I'd want to watch that.
The Paulie Malignaggi Artem fight's kind of interesting. Like,
I'm
not gonna lie, it's like
you know what
Paulie was kind of stupid, but it's interesting. Like
Paulie
it's like
the funniest part of that was gigantic Rumble Johnson just holding back
one hand, and the other hand had his phone,
recording the entire thing. That made me laugh.
That's the big like.
What has that guy been eating since he left
Anthony
the UFC?
Johnson? That guy used to be a welterweight, bro.
Oh my goodness, this guy has been eating some CBD something to get to that size. Holy smokes!
That's crazy. Now this guy is like a super like heavyweight.
Yeah,
looking like Bobby Lashley over here.
Bobby Lashley.
Holy shoot, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues in MMA, bare knuckle, which is born out of MMA. I don't know, but
The UFC will always be the superior brand
for sure.
Like
for sure.
no matter what one tries, like
they're the pinnacle.
One championship, Bellator, no matter what they try to do, UFC will always be the prominent brand. Same thing with in wrestling.
Oh yeah, for
nobody's
sure.
ever gonna freaking beat.
The WCW came close.
Yeah,
there was a point,
come close,
but they had a they were good for like 3-4 years.
Yeah,
3-4 years.
And then
but then after Vince McMahon bought them out,
he started vulturing
but not even
talent
that.
from there.
And he bought them out, but before that, their product was going down like the drain.
Yeah,
like
that
what they
NWO
were doing. The whole like
too much
the NWO had too much control. All the fighters had too much creative control, which is even what you want to see. What you see now, like even that's the reason why Dean Ambrose is leaving WWE because
a lot
he's
of
not having
talents
a lot of creative
are leaving
control
because
and
of
that's
that.
the reason why Kenny Omega didn't go to WWE because he wants creative control, what he wants to do with AEW, and I think AEW will be good for wrestling fans because it's gonna give them another option to watch, and so maybe even I read what's her name, Sasha Banks might go to AEW. She might be asking for a release. Luke Harper too. So AEW is a good, but they need to look at what went wrong back in the day. And they need to realize, but I also realized the owner of the AEW, the one he's investing into that, he's the owner of the Jaguars in the NFL. He's worth more than Vince McMahon.
Really?
Yeah, man. His net worth is like 8-point-something billion. Vince McMahon is 3.4.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So they have the money to throw away. Like to spend
and
it's
actually
a matter
build.
of
I think in terms of like brands having like a monopoly on their thing, like like you were saying, like with the UFC having like a monopoly or being the pinnacle of like combat sports. Can we talk about like the ESPN Plus deal? Because
everyone had problems with that.
Weird.
Everyone had problems with that one.
Well, I don't have
that, bro. I streamed. I told you guys.
Brennan Shaw was already hitting like, hey man, I'm trying to support your product, but
nobody's gonna, bro.
He's about to call up Brian Callen and be like,
let me get an illegal stream, buddy.
He said he had like over like 200 people bust into his DMs when he posted it out on Twitter, and he said he actually opened one of the streams, and it was like
better.
4K HD, better than any other thing he's ever seen.
The internet there's everything. I've been streaming all like the UFC events, everything.
If these companies don't market their packages and their promotions like to cater towards what they want at a reasonable price, they're gonna fail. I mean, like the WWE Network, getting back to WWE for a second, was historic in what they did with that $9.99 business. But at the same time, I mean, like one of the other problems I had specifically with ESPN Plus was because like you had to register for the service and then pay the $59.99 on top to order the monthly events.
That's stupid.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Here's the worst part for the fighters, and we all try to be pro fighter.
Payout
is the payout. Now they have no leverage. So with this ESPN Plus deal, each UFC pay-per-view, ESPN Plus is giving them 500,000, like as if they were to get 500,000 pay-per-view buys. So even if they don't reach 500,000 pay-per-view buys, ESPN Plus is giving them the payout as if they were to reach that.
So how much is that?
Whatever million that is. I don't know how much UFC.
And they split that between the fighters?
Not necessarily, but now here's the issue is like, so if I'm a fighter and I get on average 600,000 pay-per-view buys, I have no leverage because the UFC is going to be like, well, you only have 100,000 more than we're getting paid. Like, so what?
Yeah.
Or, which we were looking at in our first episode, we talked a lot about with this whole Conor McGregor thing, which we always get into,
the McGregor
comes
effect.
back to, is, so we were looking at average pay-per-view buys for some of the pay-per-views that not necessarily were marquee names. What were those averages? Like 120, 130, 150, 220.
Yeah.
If you're a fighter that maybe had like 400, 430 on average, you got leverage because you can just go to the UFC and say, hey, listen, I'm a champion. Maybe like a guy like Henry Cejudo, I'm a champion. And you guys are only averaging 130, and 130K, and I'm bringing like in, and my pay-per-view buys are 430.
I want a slice.
I want a slice of the pie. I want more pay-per-view points. I want, instead of me getting paid 150K per fight, I want 200K per fight or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You lost all that leverage because now the UFC each time is getting paid 500 pay. So now even if that pay-per-view got 90,000 buys, which I don't know when's the last time they hit 90,000.
So
maybe for Adesanya Silva.
Is that why McGregor wants a piece of?
I was gonna lead into my next point. I mean, like, you kind of have to give him credence for like the testicular fortitude he has for asking for equity from this company, even though Dana White says he's never gonna get it at the same time. But like fighters have to it kind of also goes back into the argument of like why fighters should unionize and get back into a union, because like now with this whole deal that just like erases all of their leverage, like you said, Marcus, like how do fighters how do they sustain their livelihood? It's complicated.
They don't, and it's becoming more and more like they don't. You have the pay to show and the pay to win structure,
which is ridiculous.
It's stupid. Like 50 to show and then you get another 50 to win. No, like you should be getting 75 then. Like but it's the fighters themselves that are the issue as well, because union, yes too, but like you have to negotiate for yourself. You need to know your worth. And you can't just take the deal to take the deal. Like guys like Ryan Bader, Rory McDonald, maybe they're not necessarily marquee names in the MMA world or the mainstream world, but look how much they're getting paid. And life's not all about money. We all know that. Like we all have our views on that.
Talking about.
But like that's what I'm saying is like fighters, you need to know your worth, and when it comes to something like that, you need to be like the difference between 50K and 150K. That's a big difference.
It's huge.
And you're doing the same thing. You're doing what you love. It's not like okay, I'm switching career paths. Okay, you're switching promotions. You might be switching marketability, but hey, at the end of the day, this is fighting, man. This is a fight business. So you need to get paid, and it's
do yourself some favors.
It's pretty crazy what's going on.
Hire an agent. Put yourself out there on social media. There are a ton of ways. I mean, you can put your name out there to gain leverage outside.
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say is how in the UFC, this is the thing that I think is their downfall. All the fighters look the fucking same.
Well, and you know what it is? And I agree with you. You bring up a great point. That's what it is. Everyone's gonna be the same.
They don't
look the same. There's no marketability for stars anymore.
They can't express their personality.
You're not gonna be able to express their personality. You're just a number. You're just a number to them, and then they get all that.
That's where I think Bellator has the upper hand in that, because they allow their fighters to just they give them that freedom.
You have this road ahead of you. You shine on that same road.
But I swear, ever since they got the Reebok deal, every time they come out, bro, they all look the same old stuff, whatever. Like McGregor maybe have the green shorts,
or the camo shorts or something.
Some bullshit.
I mean, by and large, like with the trunks that had the ads all over them for sponsorships back in the day, they looked ugly as hell. But at the same time, it gave you individuality and it made you look different from the competition. And you got paid.
Like Brennan Schaub said, he got more from like that's part of the reason why he retired. Not to mention, his career.
But he's probably making more now. Though.
Oh, he is. Well, he's making way more money than he was fighting.
Hats off to Schaub too. I mean, like I didn't like the guy in the beginning, but I listened to his podcast and
he's a comedian,
and I heard he's a comedian and he's a pretty decent stand-up too. And I kind of like
him to become a comedian, but that's what happens when you become friends with comedians.
I actually really like his series that he has on his channel with that Food Truck Diaries.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's a really legit idea.
No, Brendan Schaub is the man. We're all trying to aspire to be like him and be our own person as well. But
never thought I'd be saying those words.
You never know.
I want to be like.
You never know where this life takes you.
For sure.
Look at Brendan Schaub.
Yeah,
but I just think
it helps when you're best friends with one of the best, and Joe Rogan.
JRE.
I just think, you said it perfect, Yusuf. You're just gonna be a number to them, or just a fighter to them. Yeah, you gotta have I get it. You don't want to give the fighters all the control. You want to have a little big give and take, because we've seen when you give all the fighters control. Conor McGregor again.
I like when John Jones had the Nike on his shorts. That was huge, I think. And then that I feel like that lasted for a hot minute. Then he got in trouble.
Literally a hot minute.
Lost that deal. And then UFC went to Reebok and all that stuff. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then you have the ESPN Plus deal. Like everything, they're just trying to get. They're just trying to get that investment
they're
back.
They're literally trying to put a monopoly on not just being the best combat sports brand, but on their actual talent as well, which defeats the whole purpose of
gotta have some.
The fighters are not winning in this case.
You gotta have some give and take.
I think it's just it's like Dana White and people that run.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
It's not going to change.
They're winning.
It's literally not going to change, because unless you're like one of those 0.01% of talent where you're like a Conor McGregor, where you actually can put yourself out there to the point where you can gain leverage. But what fighter right now has that sort of personality.
Henry Cejudo has no leverage anymore. Guys like him, no leverage no more.
Not everybody can
Before he did, no leverage anymore.
Not everybody can be McGregor because McGregor.
Darren Till, same thing.
McGregor called out Floyd Mayweather, got that payday $100 million. Nobody's gonna go call out these like a Floyd Mayweather. I want to fight like McGregor. They're not gonna do that. McGregor was just that once and
0.001%. That
and then
happens,
look what he's doing now. He's basically he doesn't need to come back to the UFC.
And exactly, and that's what I was going to lead into. We were talking about Brendan Shaw being set
proper 12.
Look what McGregor's doing. He's got August McGregor, that clothing line that's out. He's got proper 12. He's good. He doesn't need fighting.
You see on I think it was that he came up with that Champ Rose
Cabernet, or was it Rose? Yeah. Oh my god.
And then he said it was a joke. I'm like, shut up.
I'm like, don't give him
Marcus.
Don't give him ideas.
I was saying to Damien, like, you notice how like when McGregor tweets, you notice like there's like a change in tone of how he's tweeting. Like after there's like each.
It's
UFC
weird.
fight.
Like, I don't know why he does that. Stupid.
He's talking. I feel like he's talking like he's like he owns the UFC. Like he's like.
Or he's trying to like. He
set up the main of like he helped Dana White put that event together because he's always talking.
Look what he said to Dustin,
or trying to get some sympathy from the fan, or like you know what I mean. I think it's like
sympathy, and it's also
like a little bit of both. Like, well, I'm humble now. I'm giving props to guys.
Exactly. He's like, we're about to have a Thriller in Manila essentially storyline of Dustin and Max, and I'm like you're becoming like the commentator of the UFC. You're doing this just to keep your name in the spotlight a little bit, dude. Just get back to fighting. That's what you're known for. I mean, like
he is proud. Like he holds it proud, like to himself that he helped grew the UFC to become a $4 billion
in his own
company.
Words.
That's why he's like
he knows his
campaigning
net worth.
Hard to get a percentage of it, which I don't think he will ever get it. But he's always gonna have that in him, like that confidence in him that he's gonna get it.
Yeah, exactly.
McGregor is just, man, I don't know. We talked so many things.
Very.
He is not even on my radar of top 10 of all time.
Yeah. I think I can name 10 fighters.
I can name 10 fighters that are better. Like they have
Poirier. I don't think he's coming back.
I think Poirier he's in my opinion more of.
Oh yeah, but just by the way he carries himself too, right? I mean, like by and large, like, do we want to get into McGregor's legal situation, or are we tired of talking about Conor McGregor?
I'm tired of talking about this guy. Like, he's not. Like I said, I don't think he's coming back. There's no point.
You don't think so?
I can't see.
I think he
back.
is.
I think he might come back.
Like a one-off again and get beat and lose again. Like
literally a one-off.
I think he's gonna. I think the pressure is gonna get to him that people are gonna say like he can't just leave after that loss to Khabib. I think he would, as a fighter, you would want to go and at least try to avenge that loss.
I think the Conor McGregor
and also
of today,
Nate Diaz, it's 1-1. You gotta complete it.
That's the one-off. I think he might come back for just to finish up the trilogy and then just ride off into the Irish sunset or something. Yeah, but by and large, I'm tired of talking about Conor McGregor.
So what's next for the UFC then? Let's sort of head into the closing stages of what's next, what's going on for the rest of the year. We have this card, honestly, doesn't really excite me too much. No offense.
Is it International Fight Week?
No, 237. The International Fight Week. No, that card is stacked.
John Jones.
Doug Rose, Andrade, Anderson, Cannonier,
Ben Askren, and Masvidal,
Jose Aldo. Yeah, that excites me. But like coming up in the near future is Doug Rose versus Andrade, Jared Cannonier,
and Aldo has a fight too.
Aldo's fighting Volkanovski. It's a good card.
We can preview those in like future episodes, but as it stands right now, I mean, like I like Thug Rose. I'll be watching her fight against Andrade. Other than that, I think in terms of contenders for strawweight, I think there's Michelle Watterson who won her fight.
She's
in Philly, I think, a few weeks back or something. Or
she's a rocket, bro.
Yeah, Karate Hottie, mommy. Yeah, I'd like to see Watterson versus Thug Rose someday, maybe.
Ooh, Jose Aldo and
Volkanovski. Volkanovski, eh?
No, International Fight Week card is
Anderson Silva fight
is stacked.
This guy should just, if he loses that fight, hang up the gloves.
Yeah, man.
International Fight Week is stacked. Like that card is pretty crazy.
We went 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that was disappointing. But
this card is what we wish the one.
There's some great fights coming up. John Jones, but the two fights that you really want to see now, I think, But this whole hype is what we came back, and not just because it's fresh. I do think it's the fights you want to see. Is Poirier versus Khabib and Adesanya versus Whitaker. Like those are the two most fights.
If he pulls
that I'm
out
excited.
Bobby Knuckles.
Yeah, Bobby Knuckles.
That's my boy.
I got Adesanya winning. I'm telling you, that guy. I'm
He's a
full fanboy on that guy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a full fanboy on Adesanya.
He's the perfect.
He's got
mix.
everything.
He's the perfect mix of like a little bit of John Jones, and Anderson Silva. He's got the showmanship.
He can talk trash a little bit.
Talk trash.
Oh, his trash talk is so
not
funny.
like bad too. Like not like
at
like
the same time,
he's just doing his thing. I think I'm not just saying that. I think he's pretty authentic.
The way he was
great.
describing John Jones on Ariel's podcast made me die.
Those Nigerians.
Kamara Usman we didn't get into.
Oh, Woodley.
Oh my.
What about that fight?
Kamara
He just ran him.
Yeah.
He just ran through through him.
I don't know if Woodley came to like watch a boring movie at a theater or if he came to fight that night.
That's the thing with Tyron. We talked about this before.
Yeah,
like Tyron Woodley, you never know what he's gonna do. Like he can either have a dominating fight where you can tell he just outmans the other guy, like what he did with Darren Till.
When he did to Robbie Lawler. Yeah.
But then after
he's coming up,
but then after he comes out with those lackluster fights, like with what's his name. With
Thompson?
Wonder Boy, Thompson.
Well, the second one, right?
Yeah, the second
one. I'm with Rogan on the opinion that it was like a little bit of a chess match.
But the Usman looked like he wasn't even interested. It was basically like
even at the weigh-ins and the pre-fight conference too. Yeah,
Kamara Usman though, like he's serious.
Let's talk about Usman because
he's serious.
He is the real deal. Like no more 30%.
He needs to fight Colby though.
Yeah,
he's fight Colby. That's another fight you want to see by the end of the year.
It's money. It's money.
Not even that. Like, just get that fight over with. Get Usman to smash him. Like he's going to.
With Ali Abdulaziz as a special guest referee.
Yeah. Oh man, that guy's crazy too. That's another character.
How's Noah?
Crazy.
Buddy, I feel like every time if I were to go to Vegas right now, I would see him in like some kind of scrap in like I don't know, MGM Grand.
Just reaching out in a buffet line and
I just get that vibe
from Ali.
Like I get that vibe from him and it's like the people that he's with. I get that vibe that they're always like ready to fight. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
But that's Usman and Colby. They need to square off. Colby Covington. Did you see that video when he goes up to Dana White?
Yeah.
When Dana White was like with some like random chick and his friends and all.
Oh, when you rushed him, he was gambling or something. Yeah,
he goes,
I've seen that.
Where's my fight? Where's my fight? Or
Colby is
like
just so cringe, but he's reached the point where it's like you have to pay attention to him now.
He's made it seem like he's the ultimate like villain. Like
he revels in that. Yesterday on Ariel's podcast on the show that he said that he's like, I'm the heel. No one's close.
You need some villains.
You need some villains. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
We're all talking about him, but we hate him.
Conor McGregor, I feel like was the best at like making people hate him and making people love him.
Conor of 2014, 2015. This Conor is just like what he was doing to Khabib on the Twitter thing is stupid. Like
honestly, think that's
going back to that's not even worth talking about. But the Colby, I will say this about the Colby Usman buildup. I hope they don't make their feud based on this whole American like who's really more American.
Oh my god, another stupid thing.
It is so ridiculous. Like, do your trash talk, do everything like you want to do, but just fight at the end of the day. Like Usman saying, "I'm more American than you," and Colby's like saying, "Make America great again." I'm like, I always get this out of here.
That's the thing. I always find like the trash talking, like once it gets to the fight, and then after the fight, doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, you see these guys like they show respect and everything like that.
I don't think these two are going to be shaking hands though. I
don't know. Besides Conor McGregor and Khabib in this case, but most of the time I feel like that's how
because it's manufactured in that sense. I think the Conor and Khabib thing was like
that one was just
real.
personal because like Khabib is
you talk about my religion. You talk about my father. You talk about
like Dylan Dennis. That's another freaking idiot.
I didn't even want to like mention
that. That guy thinks he's. This is the thing. That guy like he's legit like. It's like
punk.
It's like if I was a G League player playing, and I'm talking like like Steph Curry, because I'm friends with LeBron James, or something like that. That's what he is. He's talking big because he's best friends with Conor McGregor, and he's freaking. I don't know, man. I can't stand that guy, especially now that he's dating.
He's annoying. Some Instagram.
He's dating that Instagram model, and he like, man, is. I hope that guy gets knocked out.
Like when he's talking as in a conversation aspect, like he sounds like every other normal like douche that you know.
He's trying to take over Bellator. Like he's like trying like to rub it in. in people's faces that he's so close friends with Scott Coker and all this shit. And then
he's
like, oh,
he's trying to manufacture the McGregor effect. Yeah, it's not really working.
It's not gonna work on you because you're trash.
You're bad. Jake Shields pretty much put you out of commission. You shouldn't be talking like
dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't stand that guy.
There's a lot of interesting things on the horizon. I think the new blood, the new champions, Usman, Poirier, Adesanya.
I like the champions now.
I like this new blood because they've built win streaks and against good opponents
and they
too. Like
fight.
They're not fighting tomato cans. Like they're fighting legitimate contenders. Like,
after each, they want to go. They want next.
They
Who's
want
next.
Boom. Yeah. Like Adesanya's fought 6 times in 14 months.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. We gotta respect
6-0.
Yeah,
6 fights in 14 months, and he's the interim champion. That's why I told you.
Yeah,
like. I can't get enough of that guy. I'm a full-out fanboy. I don't care.
That guy's
Israel Adesanya, to
that guy's
me,
a true
like just everything about him. He's
true champion, and I think eventually, when it's all said and done, he's gonna be considered
like that fight. We didn't even get into that fight itself. That fight with Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
That's fight of the year. There's not going to be another fight of the year. You might as well wrap it up. End of the year podcast that we do.
Yeah.
That's your fight of the year. Unanimous. Like, you might as well write it there. I don't think any other fight's going to beat that.
Probably top 5 best fights I've ever seen ever.
Oh, it was like a.
There's argument for top 3. There's argument for top 3.
The ending was nuts. Yeah, like the ending. I thought Adesanya was gonna finish.
We haven't even talked about Gastelum, how he brought it to Adesanya too. Major respect to Kelvin.
He looked good.
He looked.
He was throwing some bombs at Adesanya.
Thank you for moving back up to your weight where you belong, because you just put on a fight for like a century.
He was throwing some bombs at him.
No, he looked good.
Yeah,
he looked really good. So
what's next for him?
That's a good question.
The sky is the limit, basically. He has so much stock right now after that fight. I think he could definitely get somewhere. Yeah.
No, for Gastelum, that's a good question. Like, I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, he lost to Weidman, but I don't really want to see that rematch. Who else is out there at middleweight? You want to think like Romero's supposed to face Paulo Costa still, or they're gonna move on from that? That's still going on.
I mean, there's Jacare, but Jacare has a fight coming.
Jacare has a fight with the tomato can.
Oh yeah.
No offense, but yeah, that he should win that fight.
Tomato can.
That's his first and last name.
I think
if Rockhold might, he's
Rockhold's 205. Rockhold ain't. Rockhold's not coming back.
Yeah,
I just think
I'm so used to him being.
I just think maybe Derek Brunson. Like, I don't know, throw Derek Brunson at everybody. Jared Cannonier, Anderson if he still wants to fight. Get Gastelum on Anderson.
Yeah,
get Gastelum against
stock is really high
Romero.
At the moment.
That's what I think. Romero.
I'm guessing Romero too.
Could be Romero. Could be. I mean,
Darren
Till moves
Romero
up. Let's get Gastelum and Darren Till. Like, let's have some fun with it.
When was the last time Romero fought?
Romero
I feel like he has to fight.
Was it Weidman?
No, it was Whitaker.
Part 2.
Or was it Jacare?
No, Jacare was supposed to happen.
It's Whitaker.
It fell out. Yeah,
it's Whitaker.
Oh, I'm thinking about the Jacare fight with Weidman.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, oh yeah, Marcus, you're right. It was Whitaker Part 2. Yeah, I remember it clear as day. So what are we? So to wrap up, we've been talking here for a pretty good minute.
Yeah,
I just want to get you guys. There's one thing that came to mind during the course of our conversation. A certain legend retired February 21st or 20th, a couple months back. We haven't touched on him. GSP.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah. No, not about like. I don't know.
His impact.
Let's talk about his impact, or what our favorite moments are for GSP.
Oh man, where do I start? My favorite fighter of all time.
Yeah, my favorite fighter of all time.
Oh my god. Yeah. There's so many. Like,
he's an icon.
Like, it's already been said, but like we can say it again. Like, there's so many moments about GSP.
There's so many moments for GSP. Yeah,
I think mine might have to be. I think it's comeback win against Matt Serra.
I was gonna say the Serra rematch.
I like the BJ one. I think that's peak GSP.
PJ.
Do you know where you are? He didn't know where the hell he was. No, I think that's peak GSP.
Yeah.
No, it might even be Michael Bisping.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, I know it's the last one, but like,
it was gonna be tied with me for
all the circumstances that led into that fight. Nobody. Well, people gave him a chance, but nobody thought he can win.
Yeah.
It's Michael Bisping. He fights boring, this and that. All the casuals, GSP's boring, GSP's this, GSP's that.
That's always been like...
He finished them, starched them, slept them, choked them out.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
it's tied.
I have a Snapchat of us like going off in our house.
To me, that's peak GSP. I'll always remember that. I don't think he should come back. I said it even before Bisping.
What's the point?
There's no point. There's nothing to prove.
There's nothing else to prove. You're cemented as literally the greatest of all time. Yeah, in my opinion. Like
this is what GSP
there's no need to come back. And I met the guy back at TriStar when I went to Montreal on a quick trip. Like he was everything that we envision and see him as, like humble, modest, respectful, humble, funny guy too. And he's like
kind. That's how he's supposed to be, man. That's what we all strive to be.
Exactly.
But GSP, I think he is like
the pinnacle of sportsmanship.
He is the blueprint, like for greatness.
Yeah.
In mixed martial arts, like that's I think each if any up and coming mixed martial artist,
you want to like emulate or model yourself,
you want to emulate yourself off someone, and you and you picture yourself as a future champion in the UFC. You want to look up to GSP because
there's no need
he
for
did it all the right way. No trash talk, no nothing.
Respectful all the way.
And also when he was in the it was like you saw it was like an art. Yeah. Like it was just he's a master of his craft, man.
Total master of his craft.
And just like everything about him, the way he like
exactly the way he carried himself in real life,
the way he carries himself, and especially like his impact in Canada too. It's like he's a big icon here.
Oh yeah, for sure, and rightfully so.
Is one like there's not much like Canadians in mixed martial arts, and this guy was he is the GOAT.
He became an international star,
and he became the biggest star in the one of the biggest stars in the UFC. In my opinion, he is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he is the greatest of all time. 100%.
I agree, 100%. Fights to look forward to for the rest of the year, like I said. For me, the new blood, the Usman, Adesanya, Poirier.
Yeah.
Just because they're fresh, but you want to see those fights, like John Jones versus Thiago Santos.
What about
I'm
Amanda?
all right for that.
About Amanda?
Amanda Holly Holm. That's an interesting fight too. Like that'll be good. Rose coming back against Jessica Andrade, who's like super powerful
in Brazil.
That'll be dope.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of great fights. Cejudo versus Moraes. Woodley versus Lawler. Askren versus Masvidal. I mean,
fight environment's looking good. The fight
it's looking good. There's a lot of great champions. Just they don't have any leverage like we talked about. There's a lot of interesting things coming up in the
MMA world.
In the MMA world. We'll be back soon, obviously. I think we'll be back in a few weeks.
For sure.
Fingers crossed. I'll let you guys know. Definitely on air too. My experience maybe with UFC in Ottawa fight night. Might be heading to Ottawa. Fingers crossed on that one.
Ali Quinta and
Cerrone. I'll have a inside inside track on that if I'm there. Let you know the experience and how it was and my gauge of them going into fight week if I am there. But I definitely that's a great fight too. That's another great fight. Ali Quinta, dark horse in the lightweight division.
And also Cerrone too. I mean, who did he get his last W over? I mean, it was just a little
Mike Petty.
Mike
Petty.
Mike Petty. Most wins in the UFC. Cerrone's always up there. Yeah.
I think the winner of that fight should fight Gaethje. Dustin Gaethje. That's a dark. Tony Ferguson, Gaethje.
Dustin Gaethje wants
Gaethje, but Gaethje needs another one or two contenders.
I say he needs another.
Like who did he beat? He beat Felder, right?
Yeah.
No, Felder wants to fight Gaethje. He beat Barbosa last. Sorry, he beat Barbosa last. He starched Barbosa pretty good. Like he.
I feel like everybody's going through Barbosa.
Like, lately.
I don't know, man. He's been getting pummeled.
One of the best.
He might need to move up weight too. Who knows? But Gaethje, he beat Barbosa, and before that, he beat what's his name? James Vick.
James Vick.
After losing a couple fights, I think he fought Vick, but it's been solid. Those are maybe some of the dark horses in the lightweight division. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot on the horizon for Fightonomics. Definitely give us a like, subscribe.
We're gonna try to be more active.
Follow, more active.
Yeah, that
lately.
was one thing too. We're gonna like I said in the beginning of the pod, like we're gonna be trying to throwing more projects at you, a little bit different things here and there, but all relating back to the main bulk of the podcast. So they're gonna be on the horizon as well, and hopefully, if life allows us to, we will be able to keep this consistent as well. So definitely gonna keep you guys on the edge, and hopefully we get this content out to you consistently and daily.
Yeah, should be interesting. Probably wrap up, get back here in about maybe 2-3 weeks. Wrap up Doug Rose UFC 238.
Yep.
It should be
shout out Pape Station.
Yeah, I guess. Or 237. Sorry, 238 is Cejudo versus Moraes. 237. So that's a wrap on episode 7. We'll be back with episode 8 to recap 237. Who knows what other news comes through? The world of mixed martial arts is always changing, and we'll be
something's always happening.
We'll be there all along the way.
As interesting.
Yep.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.